My dear heart, before you let the weight of this day slip from your tired shoulders, come a little closer. Lay your worries down beside you like shoes by the door. Take a breath, slow, gentle, intentional. For this moment right here is sacred. The night has stretched its velvet curtain across the sky, and God has drawn near to whisper peace over you. You have carried enough today. You have fought enough today. And now, beloved, it is time to rest under the wings of the Almighty. Close your eyes and let this prayer be the balm that soothes your soul. Father, as I lay down to sleep, fold me into your calm. Quiet the storms in my mind. Settle the tremble in my spirit. Wash me in your mercy and cover me with your unending grace. Yes, my friend, whisper it. Let the words fall like warm oil down the spine of your spirit. Let them unclench the fists you've made of your thoughts. For tonight God is leaning close. Tonight heaven is nearer than your own breath. You have walked through shadows today. You have pushed through frustration, disappointment, and uncertainty. But look at you, still standing, still breathing, still hoping. That alone is a miracle wrapped in skin. Now listen to me softly. When you surrender this day to God, you don't lose control. You place it in the hands of the one who already knows the path your feet will walk tomorrow. So pray with me again. Lord, forgive me for the moments I was weak. Forgive the words I shouldn't have spoken. Forgive the doubts that clouded my mind. Renew me tonight. Reset my spirit. Rebuild my peace. Oh, how God loves a soul that comes humbly. How heaven rejoices over a heart that returns home at the end of the day, seeking rest not from the world but in the one who made it. Now let your body soften. Let your spirit loosen its grip, because God is not finished with you. He has strength waiting on the shores of tomorrow. He has blessings tucked into the corners of the sunrise. But tonight is for restoration. Tonight angels take their post at your door. Tonight the Lord himself lays his hand upon your forehead and whispers, "Be still. You are safe now." So say this with me. God, I trust you. Guard my sleep. Guard my home. Guard my spirit. Let miracles rise with the morning light. My friend, miracles do not always shout. Some come quietly. Some slip in on tiptoe while you sleep, straightening the path before you, softening the hearts meant to bless you, closing the doors that were never meant to open, and unlocking the ones that lead to your destiny. So rest tonight knowing that heaven is working while your eyes are closed. Rest in the truth that you are loved. You are held. You are known. And you are never alone. And before you drift into that sweet surrender of sleep, place this final prayer upon your tongue like honey. Lord, wrap me in your peace tonight. Let your breath be my calm. Let your love be my blanket. And let your angels keep watch over me until the morning breaks with new mercies. Now breathe. Let the night cradle you. Let your fears fall away. Let your soul stretch out in the warmth of God's promise. You have done enough for today. God will take it from here. Good night, beloved. Sleep in peace. Wake in miracle. When the soft hush of evening begins to settle around you like a gentle shawl, there comes a moment, quiet, precious, almost sacred, where you must decide what to carry into the night and what to lay down at the feet of God. So many people drag the whole day with them into their sleep. Every worry, every sharp word someone tossed their way, every fear that nibbled at the edges of their peace. But my friend, the soul was not designed to sleep while clutching burdens. Night is God's invitation to surrender, and surrender is not defeat. It is deliverance. It is the simple, mighty act of letting the Creator take the weight your mortal bones were never meant to bear. So breathe, slowly, deeply, and feel the way the day begins to unhook itself from your spirit when you give it permission to leave. When you surrender this day to God, you are not pretending that everything went perfectly. No, you are doing something far braver. You are acknowledging that you tried. You showed up. You fought through your doubts. You walked through your responsibilities with trembling courage. Maybe you stumbled. Maybe you cried. Maybe you spoke too sharply or loved too little. Maybe you felt unseen in your giving. unappreciated in your effort. But tonight, before you surrender this day, understand this truth. God saw every step you took, even the ones you took with weary feet and a heavy heart. Surrendering the day is an act of trust, yes, but it is also an act of respect for your own humanity. You are not a machine that can run endlessly without rest. You are a soul stitched together with breath and hope, molded by a divine hand, designed to pause, to reflect, to release. God himself wove the night into existence as a reminder that even creation must rest. And if the sun is allowed to slip behind the horizon without guilt, then you too may lay down your burdens without shame. Let the day go. Let its mistakes fall like dried leaves from a tree in autumn, necessary, natural, and beautiful in their surrender. For no tree clings to what was meant to be released, and neither should you. There is a certain grace in letting go, a freedom in trusting God to handle what your heart cannot hold. When you place your day in his hands, you are placing it in the hands that shaped mountains, commanded oceans, and painted the heavens. Surely those same hands can hold the small, trembling pieces of your day. Close your eyes now and feel the world growing softer. The noise weakens. The pressure loosens. The demands that pulled at you all day begin to blur at the edges. You are stepping out of the clamor and into the calm. This is where surrender begins, in the quiet spaces where your soul whispers, "Lord, take this, I am tired." And God, with the tenderness of a father who loves without end, answers, "Rest, child, I am here." Surrendering the day means releasing what you cannot fix tonight. It means handing over every unanswered question, every lingering worry, every unresolved fear. There is no wisdom in tormenting yourself with thoughts of tomorrow when God has already walked ahead of you. There is no peace in replaying words that hurt you when God has already written healing into your dawn. So let tomorrow stay where it is in tomorrow, and let tonight be what it was made to be, a sanctuary. My dear friend, surrender is not passive. It is powerful. It is the boldness of saying, "I don't know what will happen next, but I trust the one who does." It is the quiet confidence of leaning into God's chest and letting his heartbeat steady your own. It is the courage of loosening your grip on the things you cannot change, knowing that God can change what you cannot even touch. When you surrender the day to God, miracles begin to stir. Peace starts to rise. Anxiety softens its voice. The inner storm starts to lose its thunder. You begin to feel something warm, something comforting, something holy settle over you like a blanket knitted from divine promise. This is not imagination, this is presence, God's presence. For he draws nearest to the soul that comes to him emptied and open. And do not think, even for a moment, that surrender is a sign of weakness. It is the mark of the strong. It is the mark of the weary warrior who knows when to lay down the sword and allow God to fight the battles unseen. Strength is not always loud. Sometimes it is the whisper that says, "I trust you, Lord, even here." So before you sleep, speak softly to your own heart. You have done enough. You do not have to carry this anymore. And then speak to God. Father, I give this day to you, all of it. The good, the bad, the beautiful, the broken. I place it in your hands. I release every weight. I trust you with what I cannot handle. Let your peace be my rest. And just like that, surrender becomes a doorway into rest, a doorway into healing, a doorway into the miracle of tomorrow. Because when you stop wrestling with what you cannot control, God begins working in ways you cannot imagine. Now let your shoulders fall. Let your mind unclench. Let your spirit be still. You are no longer holding the day is held by God. And you, beloved, are held as well. When the sun slips beneath the horizon and the soft hush of night curls around your home, there comes a moment where the soul longs for cleansing, longs to be washed of the dust it gathered throughout the hours. You see, my friend, the spirit is tender. It bruises quietly. It carries more than your face ever shows, and by the time evening arrives, there is so much your heart has taken in without permission. A harsh word that stung, a memory that rose at the wrong time, a worry that clung to you like burrs on your clothing. That is why, before you surrender yourself to sleep, there must be a gentle returning to God, a holy pause where you ask Him to forgive, to renew and to breathe life back into the weary corners of your being. Seeking forgiveness is not an act of shame, it is an act of courage. It is standing before the one who knows every thought you have ever whispered inside yourself and saying, Lord, I want to be better tomorrow than I was today. What a beautiful, humbling, powerful thing it is to desire growth. A soul that asks for forgiveness is a soul that has not grown cold. It is a soul that is still stretching toward the light like a flower that refuses to quit blooming. Throughout the day, you may have faltered. Perhaps your patience ran out before your obligations did. Perhaps you loved someone a little less gently than you intended. Perhaps old wounds rose to the surface and you reacted out of hurt rather than wisdom. And perhaps even without meaning to, you closed your heart to someone who needed kindness. But hear me now, all of that does not make you unworthy. It makes you human. And the God who sculpted you from dust understands the frailty of the human heart far more deeply than you understand it yourself. There is something mighty, almost miraculous in the act of nighttime reflection. When the noise of the world dims and your soul finally has room to speak, you begin to hear its quiet truths. You realize where you could have chosen love but chose fear instead. You remember the moments where your words were sharp because your spirit was tired. And you see clearly, without the harshness of self-condemnation, the places where you need God to apply His healing balm. This is where renewal begins, in honesty. In that soft, trembling whisper that says, Lord, I didn't get everything right today. And God, with the patience of eternity in His voice, replies, You are still mine, come closer. Forgiveness is not merely for the moments when you did wrong. Sometimes you need forgiveness simply for carrying burdens that were never yours to carry. Sometimes you need forgiveness for the way you doubted yourself, for the way you spoke harshly to your own reflection, for the way you underestimated the strength God placed inside you. Too many people ask God to forgive what they did, but never ask Him to forgive what they believed about themselves, beliefs that were small, restrictive, and untrue. So tonight, let your heart open like a window to the moonlight. Let every part of you stretch toward heaven. Say to God, Wash me clean of today, Lord. Wash me clean of the worry that wore me down. Wash me clean of the fear that crept into my spirit. Wash me clean of the mistakes that cling to my memory. Make me new again. And oh, how God responds to a sincere heart. You do not have to shout. You do not need fancy words. Just honesty. Just humility. God moves most powerfully through the open spaces of an honest soul. When you come to Him stripped of pride and full of desire to grow, He steps into the room of your heart and begins sweeping away everything that is not meant for you. Renewal is not a magic trick. It is a divine work. It is God breathing gently into the places that feel cracked and worn. Renewal is God whispering to your spirit, You are not your mistakes. You are not your weakness. You are not the sum of your flawed moments. You are my child, and I am shaping you still. Feel that truth settle over you like a warm blanket. You see, life is a teacher. But God is the healer. You can learn from your missteps, but only God can turn those missteps into stepping stones. You can reflect on your flaws, but only God can transform them into wisdom. You can regret your actions, but only God can renew your spirit, so your tomorrow is not chained to your yesterday. Every night, when you ask for forgiveness and renewal, you are wiping the slate clean. You are giving your soul room to breathe again. You are refusing to sleep with a heavy heart. You are refusing to let guilt or shame follow you into your dreams. You are choosing peace over punishment. And when God forgives you, He does not do it halfway. Heaven does not keep receipts of your failures. Angels do not whisper about the mistakes you made. When God forgives, He forgets. He throws your sins into a sea so deep that even grief cannot find them. What a gift that is. So do not be afraid to come to Him tonight with your whole truth. Do not fear His judgment, for His arms are wider than your flaws, and His mercy is deeper than your errors. As the night grows quiet, let your spirit soften. Let yourself feel the calm that comes when you know you are forgiven, not just by God, but by yourself. Too many hearts stay heavy, not because God refuses to forgive them, but because they refuse to forgive themselves. But tonight, let that cycle break. Let grace flow to the parts of you that are still healing. Tell yourself, I am learning, I am growing, I am becoming. And tell God, renew me, Lord. Give me a clean heart, restore my joy, strengthen my mind, guide my steps for tomorrow. And God will do it, quietly, tenderly, faithfully. By the time morning comes, you will rise with lighter shoulders, you will wake with clearer eyes, you will feel peace where guilt once lived, because you dared to lay your day before God and He transformed it into mercy. There comes a moment in the quiet of night when the body longs for rest, but the mind, oh the mind, refuses to follow. It runs in circles, chasing old fears, replaying old echoes, dragging you through memories you never invited to stay. And yet, in that tender hour, when the world has finally loosened its grip on you, God extends an invitation so soft, you almost miss it. Come, let me calm your spirit. Let me settle your thoughts. Let my peace be your pillow tonight. Peace, my dear friend, is not merely the absence of trouble. It is the presence of God in the very places where trouble once tried to reign. Peace is a blanket. He lays across your weary heart, tucking you into the safety of His promises. Peace is His own breath moving through you, telling your soul, rest now, you are safe. You and I both know that our minds do not always know how to be still. They cling to the frayed wires of worry, to the what-ifs and why-nots, to the might-haves and should-haves. But peace, true peace, is a discipline of surrender. It is the gentle turning of your face toward the God who holds the universe together, and realizing that if He can command oceans and set stars aflame, then He can surely quiet the storms trembling inside you. So tonight, as you lay yourself beneath the quiet mercy of night, breathe slowly. Let each breath unwind the knots tied inside your chest throughout the day. Let each inhale remind you that you are still here, still loved, still carried by a strength far greater than your own. And let each exhale release the noise you never needed to hold on to in the first place. Invite God's peace the way a weary traveler invites cool shade. Open your heart like a window to the gentle breeze of heaven. Whisper softly, Lord, bring your calm into this room. Settle my restless mind. Let your peace wash over me. And watch how the atmosphere shifts not outside but inside you. God's peace does not arrive loudly. It does not knock with force. It comes as a soft stirring, a quiet noticing that your chest has loosened. Your thoughts have slowed, your fears have dimmed. It is like feeling warm light rising behind closed eyes. It is like the steady hum of assurance saying, I am here with you. Nothing can trouble you that I cannot quiet. Some people lie awake replaying every moment they wished had gone differently. Others rehearse problems that haven't even arrived yet. But the peace of God invites you to lie down not in fear but in confidence. Confidence that the God who watched over you today will watch over you again tonight. Confidence that you do not face the darkness alone. Confidence that heaven leans close when you are tired. Let His peace become the rhythm of your rest. Let it travel through your veins like warm honey. Let it sink into your bones until even your body remembers what your spirit already knows: you are held. Do you know what happens when you truly invite God's peace into your sleep? The world no longer owns your rest. Fear no longer steals your breath. Anxiety no longer dictates the pace of your heartbeat. You begin to feel a holy steadiness. A quiet certainty that God stands guard at the door of your dreams, that His angels whisper protection around your bed, that His presence holds you like a mother holds her child. I want you to imagine that for a moment. God sitting beside your bed, gently brushing away every troubled thought that tries to settle on your mind. Imagine Him smoothing the creases on your spirit, the way a parent smooths the blankets over a sleeping child. Imagine His whisper settling into the deepest parts of you. Sleep now. He stopped watching over you. Peace is not something you force. It is something you receive. And sometimes receiving takes more strength than fighting. It takes strength to loosen your grip on fear. It takes strength to release the anxiety that has lived inside you for years. It takes strength to say, Lord, I cannot calm this mind alone. I need you. But oh, how heaven rushes in when those words fall from a sincere heart. When you invite God's peace into your sleep, you are protecting your spirit. You are refusing to carry today's storms into tomorrow's sunrise. You are honoring the temple of your being by giving it the rest it deserves. You are allowing God to minister to the parts of you that the world cannot touch. Sleep becomes a sanctuary. The night becomes a holy place. And your bed becomes an altar where you lay down the chaos of your day and rise again in the morning renewed. Let your mind drift toward His promises. He promises rest to the weary. He promises peace that surpasses understanding. He promises protection through the night. He promises new mercies in the morning. Peace does not mean your life is perfect. It means you trust God with the parts that are still being worked out. Peace does not silence every storm, but it gives you the strength to sleep through them until God calms the winds. Tonight, before your eyes fall shut, whisper to your soul. You are allowed to rest. God is awake. God is watching. God is working. Say it again if you need to. Say it until the truth settles deep. Say it until your spirit unclenches its trembling hands. And when you finally drift into sleep, let it be the kind of sleep that testifies to heaven's goodness, deep, soft healing. Let it be the kind of sleep that rewrites your tomorrow with quiet strength. Let it be the kind of sleep where angels stand guard and God Himself breathes peace into the chambers of your heart. For no one rests more sweetly than the one who has invited God into their dreams. And no one wakes more strongly than the one who has slept under the wings of divine peace. There is a holy truth woven through the tender hours of night. As you prepare to close your eyes, you are not stepping into darkness alone. You are stepping into the arms of a God who neither sleeps nor slumbers, a God who keeps watch when your strength quietly folds into rest. Nighttime has a way of stirring up the quiet fears we bury during the day. When the world stills and the noise fades, the heart sometimes remembers things it tried to forget. But this is where the divine assurance of protection becomes your anchor. This is where you remind your spirit that the God who carried you through the sunlight carries you just the same through the shadows. Protection, my friend, is not just physical. God does not only guard your body, He guards your mind, your emotions, your peace, your purpose, your destiny. And when you sleep, when you are at your most vulnerable, His protection becomes even more tender, even more deliberate. For the heart rests best when it knows it is safe. Have you ever noticed how a child sleeps when wrapped in a parent's arms? Unconcerned, unbothered, untouched by worry. That is the kind of safety God offers you every single night. He wraps you in the quiet confidence of His presence, and He stations angels at the threshold of your rest. You may not see them, but heaven is wide awake for your sake. As you prepare for sleep, you must whisper to your soul that you are not unguarded, you are not unshielded, you are not exposed to the things that frightened you today. God is not a distant protector. He is close, closer than breath, nearer than the beating of your heart. His hand rests gently over your life, and His watchful eye misses nothing. When you ask God to protect you through the night, something marvelous happens. Your fear begins to loosen its grip. Your anxiety quiets. Your thoughts soften. You begin to feel a warmth around you, as though the very air has shifted. That is divine presence. That is God drawing the curtains of peace around your soul. That is heaven reminding you, lay down now, child. I am standing guard. Protection is not loud. It does not shout. It does not boast. It simply is. It surrounds you in ways you do not always recognize. There have been dangers that passed by you unaware, threats that dissolved before they reached your doorstep, harm that was blocked before you even knew it existed. And not once, hear me now, not once has God failed to cover you. When you sleep, your mind travels through open fields of memory, dream, imagination. And yet even there, in the landscape of the unseen, God protects. He shields you from nightmares that would disturb your heart. He quiets the voices of fear that try to creep into your dreams. He replaces the echoes of worry with whispers of peace. He softens the blow of days that were too heavy, and he breathes restoration into the parts of you that felt worn thin. God's protection is not passive. It is active, intentional, fierce. He protects you the way a shepherd protects his sheep, standing between you and anything that would dare rise against your peace. He protects you the way a strong fortress protects those who enter its gates, firm, unshakable, immovable. He protects you the way a mother shields her child from harm, instinctively, lovingly, sacrificially. Imagine for a moment the night sky, vast, dark, endless. Now imagine God stepping before it all, saying over you, "No harm shall touch this one. This one is mine." That is what he does every night. Heaven does not go dim when the sun sets. The light simply shifts hands, and God himself holds the lantern. When you lie down, say these words softly in your heart: "Lord, place your shield around me. Guard my mind. Guard my dreams. Guard my home. Let no fear, no evil, no harm come near." And feel how those words strengthen you. Feel how security settles deep into your chest like warm light. For prayer is not just words. It is a covering. It is a mantle. It is armor woven from faith. As you speak these quiet requests to God, you begin to notice something beautiful. You are no longer bracing for danger. You are resting in safety. There is a difference. Fear makes you hide. Peace makes you trust. And God's protection nudges you softly into trust. God is your safe place, your refuge, your shield, your comfort, your guardian. He watches over your home, your family, your dreams, your destiny. He watches over the parts of you that never get spoken aloud. He watches over the silent wounds you carry and the fears you never admit. He watches over your spirit as gently as one watches a flame, shielding it from winds that try to snuff it out. The night, my dear friend, is not something to fear. It is something to give to God. When you give him your night, you are giving him the one thing you cannot control, your unconscious hours. And he honors that trust by covering you completely. As sleep begins to drift closer, let your final thoughts be rooted in peace. You are protected. You are guarded. You are surrounded by the presence of the Almighty. No weapon formed against you, not in the day, not in the night, shall prosper. Rest tonight, knowing that the same God who held the Israelites in the wilderness, who shielded Daniel in the lion's den, who stood with David in the valley, stands over your bed with the same unwavering power. Yes, beloved, the same God. And when morning comes, you will rise renewed, not because the night was short, but because God watched over every moment of it. You awake with a sense of calm strength, the kind that whispers, "I was protected, I am protected, I am safe in the hands of God." There is a quiet miracle that happens when a person surrenders their night into God's hands. It is the transformation of the heart, the softening of the mind, the gentle unfolding of burdens that once clung to the spirit like heavy stones. You see, when you place your whole being before God in the tender hush before sleep, you are not merely ending your day, you are opening your soul to divine renewal. You are allowing the Creator of heaven and earth to sweep through your spirit like a cleansing wind, removing the weight of what was and preparing you for the wonder of what can be. Many people go to sleep carrying the entire day on their backs. Every worry, every disappointment, every unspoken ache. They lie down with clenched fists and restless hearts, struggling to find a peace that slips away like mist through their fingers. But oh, when you pray, when you truly open your heart to God's loving hands, the night becomes something entirely different. It becomes a place of healing. It becomes a sanctuary. It becomes holy ground where heaven chooses to meet you. God does not rush your healing. He does not hurry your restoration. He moves with the slow, steady grace of a sunrise, soft, certain, unstoppable. When you ask him to renew your strength, he does not simply refill what was drained. No, he pours into you a strength that is deeper than muscle, stronger than emotion, sturdier than circumstance. A strength that rises from the core of your being, shaped by his love and anchored in his promise. Strength from God is not always loud. It is not always the roaring kind that charges into battle. Sometimes divine strength is quiet. It settles in the bones, straightens the spine, and steadies the breath. It is the kind that whispers, "You will rise again tomorrow, and you will rise better." As you stretch your body beneath the warmth of your blankets, let your soul ease into the knowing that God is breathing strength into the places where you once felt weak. He is touching the areas where you felt depleted, telling them to revive. He is smoothing out the wrinkles of tension in your spirit and pouring fresh courage into your bloodstream. Some days drain you without mercy. They tug at your patience, stretch your emotions, and wring your hope like a cloth. But even on those days, especially on those days, God waits for your invitation. He waits for the moment you whisper, "Lord, renew me." In that moment, heaven leans close. Angels pause their flight. Strength begins its journey toward you. God strengthens not only the body but the mind. He clears out the clutter of overthinking, lifts away the fog that clouds judgment, and settles clarity like a calm river across your thoughts. He strengthens the heart, making space for courage, for tenderness, for resilience, for love that refuses to break even under pressure. He strengthens your faith, reminding you that what you have survived is proof of what you can endure. When God renews your strength, you do not wake up the same. Something inside you shifts. You rise with a spirit that feels freshly washed, a heart that beats with renewed purpose, a mind that feels open to possibilities rather than trapped by fear. You rise aware that you are not walking into the new day alone. You are walking into it with God's fingerprints all over your soul. And then there is hope. Hope is a fragile thing in human hands, but in God's hands it becomes unbreakable. Hope is the soft lamp that glows in the darkest corner of your heart, refusing to be extinguished. Hope tells you that tomorrow holds more than today's pain. Hope tells you that your story is not done, that God is still shaping, still writing, still weaving beauty from threads that once looked like brokenness. Hope does not ignore your struggles. It stands beside them and whispers, "Even here something good is coming." It is the quiet courage that says, "Try again. Trust again, believe again." And it is the sweet voice of heaven reminding you, this is not the end of you. As you invite God to renew your strength and restore your hope, you are choosing to partner with heaven's vision for your life. You are choosing to believe that miracles are not memories, they are possibilities. You are choosing to believe that the same God who parted seas, who moved mountains, who revived the weary and restored the broken, can do that same work inside you. Hope is not a small thing. It is a lifeline. It is a seed. It is a promise wrapped in light. And God tends to hope the way a gardener tends to soil, patiently, intentionally, faithfully. When you ask him to restore your hope, he kneels beside the dry ground of your spirit and begins to water it with mercy. He pulls out the weeds of doubt. He shines his love upon the places that feel barren. And slowly, sometimes so slowly you barely notice, hope rises again. Tonight, as your eyes grow heavy and your breath deepens, let your heart lift this simple truth to God.